Next up, we have Chen, who just finished his PhD and just started working in many regards, and is already probably traveling 60, 70 miles a day, chasing various viticultural problems up and down the 3 counties he's in now. So, Chris, come on. You're on. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
You have that?
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Chen. Thanks for having me today. Appreciate it. I was one of Andy's last PhD students. I don't want to say the last because I feel like that's an honorary title, so close to the last. I also realized I didn't put any of my work in the actual presentation, so I'm going to do a quick summary real quick. I met Andy while I was frantically finishing my master's thesis in the lobby of RMI. Started interacting with him, and he was actually on my committee for that thesis. And he talked to me and said, "Do you really want to do a PhD?" Because at that point, I didn't really have a place to go. And I said, yes. And he said, "Can you finish it in 3 years?" And I said, "I don't know, but I'll try." And then I did. So it worked out really well. And I'm here today now. I'm one of the farm advisors for UCCE. So I'm going to talk about my time in the lab and mostly just about Andy. And I'm going to be using lots of figures and graphs. So we'll get into that. Okay, so if there was one thing Andy loved to do while he was teaching, it was tell stories. Lots and lots and lots of stories. And they weren't tall tales, but sometimes they were really long, which could be tough. By the time I got there, he had accumulated a lot of them. So I was a TA for him for 3 years, and I heard a few of those stories a few too many times. And now I can tell you in precise detail about some places in Texas that I've never been to. So, Carl just mentioned stuff about that earlier. In all honesty, that was probably one of my favorite parts of working with him, although sometimes my facial expression didn't really say it. So, I apologize for that. Pretty much everyone's talked about ampelography and how Andy's good at it. He's one of the few people in the world that can accurately ID grapevines, and he also counts himself in that group. But walking through the vineyards for 101A and labeling the vines we needed for teaching could be difficult because we always forgot what was where, even though they don't move. So, time of year, I'll give him some slack for that. But he helped pass this knowledge on to his students, which is really useful when you're actually in the industry. I think the value of his collections that Carl talked about was immense and underappreciated sometimes. I couldn't have done my PhD work without these collections. I think that the appreciation of wild grapes and what they can do, the diversity in them should be maintained, and that these collections should stick around once he's fully retired. I don't know where he is usually these days. So, and I couldn't pass up this joke. I thought it was funny, whatever. So in my time in the Walker Lab, Andy did more than just tell his stories. He taught people things, valuable things, and shared those knowledge on grapes to anyone that would listen, literally anyone, which was great. He spent a lot of time with the students, with faculty, with undergrads, depending on who it was. Not depending on who it was, no matter who it was, he would teach them. So I have no idea how many people he reached, but it seems like there's a lot of them. So that's great. He helped keep quite a few gems in the industry. But we shouldn't flatter him too much. We know Andy is an unmatched expert in the world of grapes, or in his words, the best crop. But he's also a really good mentor to everyone he interacts with. I'm not the type to look for mentors, but he still weaseled his way in to help guide and support me, which was great because now I can do that for other people, and I appreciate that a lot. And somehow he does this with every person he meets, whether it be student or faculty or people that actually sign up to listen to him. But with his peers, he uses his expertise and his friendly attitude and approachability to help out where he can, something that I like to take away from him. So I picked up a little thing here and there. So in terms of his stories, next time he tells you about that time that he filmed an ampelography video for an online class during a pandemic while a fire was going on nearby, you'll know he's not just blowing smoke. So thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
See, look at that. He's learned the first and most important lesson in extension right off the bat. If you're really behind schedule, go faster.